Hey, welcome to Mike the Baptist. Yes, we're still alive. Yes, we're still alive. And I hope you missed us. We missed you. It's you forget how much you like doing something until you don't do it for a while. Of course, when you first start missing it, you just kind of think, well, it's kind of nice to rest. But then you start missing that. And I've heard a lot of people comment to me, are you guys ever going to do that again? And I said, yes, just calm down. Everybody wanted a little break, and everybody got real busy back in that month of December. So a lot of people went different directions. We just kind of went into hibernation for a little bit. And guess what? We're coming out the other side with a little different format. First, let me say hi to my friends, H.D. Jones.
Hey, good to see you, Michael.
It's good to see you in a new year, and you look kind of the same.
Right? Mm-hmm. That's a good thing.
Yes, it's a race. The race is on between you and I to see who gets the most white in their whiskers and hair. And I'm ahead of you a little, but man, I'll tell you what, you've really gained.
That Grecian formula, it really works.
I'll tell you about my Uncle Bill someday. But anyway, welcome back. Good to see you again. Koontz.
Jackson.
I've missed you.
I have missed you as well, my
you
friend.
and I have had this kind of thing between each other ever since you got here. And it's just, I just want you to know, I'm not going to tear up about it.
Well, okay.
I'm bad about that, but I'm going to try not to. But anyway, missed you. Glad you're back.
Thank you. So good to be here.
You had a big trip. We'll talk about that someday, but not right now. Oh, by the way, I'm Mike the Baptist, and we're back with a new format. We're going to try something new on you. Early on during Mike the Baptist, when we first kind of got this thing going, heard several comments about that thing's too dang long. And, I was always going like, well, what are you doing that you can't, listen to that? You're going to the Titans game sitting through that. What's the difference? But anyway, we're going to experiment with Mike the Baptist here for a little while, and we're going to try to do these in about 30 minutes for a while. We're going to see what happens. Wish us luck. We're not the best at containing conversation into that, but we're going to give it a shot. And you let us know if you like it, okay? Don't just sit there and not let us know anything. We're going to all this trouble for you.
How can they let us know?
They can send us an email, Koontz, to
info at
Comments at MikeTheBaptist.com.
It has been a while.
It's been a while, and I forgot. Yes, and you can also go to the website. I'll put a plug in, MikeTheBaptist.com. Buy a shirt, buy a mug. I get no money from anywhere for all this time. These guys, they're preachers. They get a little money. I get nothing. I don't have a parsonage.
When do we get something?
I don't get that much free food.
You don't get a housing allowance?
I get no housing allowance. Y'all don't either, do you? Oh, yeah, you do. You don't get a parsonage nowadays.
Right, we get a housing allowance.
Yeah, we'll talk about that someday, too, the difference. But anyway, go to the website, et cetera, et cetera. Send us an email.
Comments
let us know. Comments at MikeTheBaptist.com. In fact, it's on the bottom of your screen there, MikeTheBaptist.com. Okay, so in trying to keep with the new format, I'm going to immediately switch into some topics. It's the first of the year. I do not make resolutions. Do y'all make resolutions?
No, I quit a long time ago because I don't like lying to myself.
Exactly. I don't make them because I don't keep them, and I just feel bad.
Yep. Isn't there an old hymn about that? I am resolved no longer to linger.
Yeah, I never thought that was about New Year's resolutions.
It's not at all.
Oh, well.
That's why he's the pastor.
So anyway, we don't have New Year's resolutions, but we do have a little change in the program. However, we're keeping the front porch talk because I hear good comments about the front porch visit. And one of them I hear most often is that people find it interesting to get to know preachers. And I hear a few comments about stories I tell, which makes me not want to tell all of them anymore. But so we're going to start out with the front porch visit, just like we always do. Today, since it's the holiday season, we're playing a little bit of catch up here, but this is the first episode after Christmas, et cetera, et cetera. And I got to wondering, I go shopping sometimes when my wife makes me, and she doesn't like for me to drop her off and then sleep in the truck like some people are prone to do. She wants me to go in there with her. It just bores me to tears. It's incredibly, incredibly hard to do this. And I noticed that when I do that, I find things to entertain myself. Nowadays, I find a chair. First thing I look for, find a dressing room that has a chair, I'm in it. I'll do the Facebook a little bit. I'll dinker around on my phone. I'll text some buddies of mine, aggravate them back and forth. But then after I get too bored, I'll get up and start roaming around. And that's when the trouble starts, because I will look for odd pictures to take, and then I'll send to people like you just to let you know that
I'm shopping.
I'm shopping, and I'm bored, and there's something going on.
I'm outside a women's dressing room, and I'm taking out pictures.
Oh, wow.
Hey, listen, if you do go, I'm changing the subject really quick. If you do go to a department store and you see like display signs upside down, quite likely I was just there, because that's one of my things that I do on occasion. I'll kind of change their displays just a little, just to see, Or if you see some strange guy
so instead of being
posing with a
half
mannequin,
off, you turn it upside down, and now it's 2 once.
let me think about that for a second. During the break, I'm going to have to draw that out and look at it. Anyway, so that's not the funniest thing I've ever done, but in keeping with the new format of time, I'm going to move on and let you guys share what you do, because I'm curious. H?
So, yeah, Miss Susan makes me go, well, I get to go shopping with my wife.
Good catch right
but,
there.
She takes me places I would never go, like Joann's Fabrics. Like, I could never go back to Joann's Fabrics and be okay. But when I do go with her, she's intently going through all these fabric samples, and I pretend like I'm interested for a while, and then I get bored. And so I'll just start walking around like you and taking pictures and looking at things. And then I'll decide, hey, it'd be funny to like pick up a few items and just drop it in her basket so that when we go to check out, it confuses her. Like, where did this come from? Who put this in? And just smile. Those are fun things to do. Or I just walk off and I get lost in the store. She'll be like, calling me, where are you at? And I'm somewhere else in the store.
You're just roaming around.
Yeah, just roaming.
Well, that does happen. I know it's not my turn, but it just made me think of a time me and some boys were going on a camping trip in my old RV, and we stopped at a grocery store, and of course, I got to do things to pass the time, so I kept dropping things in this lady's cart that was shopping near us. I'd catch her turn the other way, and I'd just drop, a jar of pickles or something in her. And so she had several things when she got to the front, I guess. So, yes.
That and a bag of Grippos?
A bag of Grippos, yeah. Man, Grippos.
Yep.
We'll talk about that someday, too.
Yep.
Grippos potato chips.
Yep.
If you've never had them, they're interesting. And they're habit forming. Mm-hmm. Is that it?
That's about the highlight.
That's pretty quick. Our new format here is just lightning.
Lightning fast.
Koontz.
So, Jackson, you pretty much described everything that I do.
Okay.
When I have to go shopping, because I despise going shopping. When I first started dating Janet, her and her family, they just loved to shop. They would go out all day long and go shopping.
Carry on.
And I'll carry on. and never buy anything. And that would just annoy me because it's a waste of my time.
Yes.
But nowadays, when I do have to go, and I will say have to go. I don't get to go.
Yeah, you don't like this, do you?
I do not like shopping.
I picked up on that.
Amazon and Kroger click list, awesome. Don't have to go anywhere except pick it up. But so I'll go and I'll find the chair, and hopefully my phone has a good charge on it so that I can get involved in a game and do something to totally take my mind off of what's happening around me.
Right.
Sometimes I'll get in trouble though, because I will completely tune out. And Janet might continue to ask questions, and I might just say, yeah, and I have no idea what I'm agreeing to or what's going on. So that could potentially cause.
Isn't that how you ended up with this new puppy in your house?
I think so. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Do we have time for him to tell that? How are we on our first segment?
Well, it depends on the editing today.
Yes, we had a gap there. So
you talking about how we got the puppy?
Yes.
Yeah. Just real quick.
Briefly.
Our last dog died like 4 or 5 years ago, and really almost immediately, as soon as we lost that dog, my son and wife were like, "We want another dog." And I was like, "No,
no more." Yeah.
I was, we had that one for 20 years. I didn't want another one. Yeah. Didn't want to deal with the loss, and I finally gave in this year. We have one of our staff girls at the church, and she has a certain little breed of dog, a miniature Aussie Doodle. She's got a couple of them, and she's always showing pictures and how cute they are.
And you got suckered right in.
And it wore me down over the course of about a year.
Yes.
And so one day I sent a picture to Janet, and I said, "Hey, contact these folks. They raise these Aussie Doodles, and go over and visit with them. See what you think." So, of course, the visit led to commitment.
If you ever go look. What'd you name it?
Zuri. Zuri.
Zuri.
Yes, it's a play off of a Star Wars name.
I was going to say that sounds like it came.
Yeah, it's a play off of that.
From the universe somewhere.
She's like 10 months old now, and she's a good dog, though.
Zuri.
Yeah, we're happy with her.
You know what? Let's see here.
That was not biblical at all. That was Star Wars.
Well, it's for naming a dog Zuri.
Okay. We're changing the rules on this new format, aren't we?
I had a dog in Arkansas once I named Scutch. Scutch was a golden lab, and he would eat rock. He would eat gravel out of your driveway just out of your hand. If you scoop it up and hand it to him, he would eat it.
Is that typical for Arkansas dogs to do these things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. That's weird.
Interesting. I think if we actually had 20 minutes to do on the front porch like we've done at times, we would have got some really crazy stories.
If that dog would have left a present in your neighbor's yard,
oh yeah,
and then he mowed,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's throwing gravel everywhere. That's terrible.
Yeah, not clean gravel either.
And he comes through for us.
He did. Thank you so much. Okay, folks, let us know how you like the new abbreviated version of the front porch visit. Should have been within 10 minutes. We'll know after editing, but thanks, fellas, for sharing.
Yeah.
And for staying above board and proper. It's a new year. We need to start out slow. We'll take a quick break, come back, and talk about some stuff we found in the Bible. Thank you for listening to and watching Mike the Baptist. We hope you get something out of these programs and that they bring you a bit of joy and hope. This year, we want to ask you to help us grow our listening audience by simply sharing these podcasts and video episodes with your friends on social media and in the real world. Our goal is simple: talk about our faith and how it affects our lives using common language, just the way people really talk. The message really is good news for people who are already churched up and for those who aren't yet, because the good news isn't something we're given to keep to ourselves. It's meant to be shared. So we're asking you to share this year by telling others about the foolishness and the fun on Mike the Baptist. Happy New Year. We're just Christians trying not to cuss. Hey, welcome back to Mike the Baptist. A new year of programs. You know, I was thinking the other day when we were making our plans to get together and crank it back up that it's kind of amazing that year and a half went by that we did all those programs. It's just like, where did that go? It snuck up on me when I realized we'd done a year's worth. It was like, I don't even remember doing all that, really. And it's just like, but such is time, eh? Such is time. So, anyway, we're going to roll into talking about some stuff we found in the Bible.
Well, we've been looking at 1 Kings, and we've been reading about this, one of my favorite Old Testament characters by the name of Elijah. And what's interesting about Elijah is that he has these two distinct things that happen in his life. The first time, he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing, and God puts him into this wilderness. Well, he comes out of that wilderness and does some really cool things like, call down fire from heaven at Mount Carmel. A lot of us know that story. But then after that, he gets scared and he runs into his own wilderness. And as I read through that story again, I was like, how come the circumstances of our life cause us to act a certain way? And so, just kind of want to talk about that. What are some circumstances that you've been through in your life, and how did it affect you? And did it help you feel closer to God, further away from God? And how can we learn from each other on that?
The example that I go back to on that is after I'd lost Mom. We'd lost Dad. 3 years later, Mom passes away. So you get this feeling for the first time in my life that you kind of feel like an orphan.
Alone.
They're both gone. And because being in ministry and having, moved away from home to serve other churches, it's hard to develop real close contacts with folks that you talk to a lot. So I was always on the phone with Dad. Every day we would talk for an hour or so, almost every day. So you lose that, and then when you lose Mom, it's like I've lost the people to have conversations with about things that are going on in life and how to deal with all that stuff. You have to keep finding other people to talk to, though, because we find that when we go through these difficulties and tough seasons or out in the wilderness or something like that, talking is one of the absolute best therapies for us. It's like, people that go through traumatic experiences, maybe in law enforcement or military and things like that. We always tell them, you need to talk. And it doesn't mean that somebody's going to have answers to give back to you, but we need to talk. And of course, this might sound too cliches. Cliches. Too much of a cliche, but
there you go.
I talk to the Lord. When I find these times, especially after losing both of them, I always would talk to my wife. She's my best friend, but I can't burden her with everything either.
Right.
And I would just all the time be going, and I might just be sitting in a parking lot somewhere, and I know people looking at me thinking you're crazy because you're sitting in the car by yourself and you're just talking. But just talking to God, and not only is that good therapy because you're talking things out in your own brain, but God wants that relationship. He wants to help us through the wilderness, whether He put us there or we put ourselves there. He really wants the best for us. So why don't we talk to Him a lot?
I don't think any human being is designed, and God being the designer, we all agree on that at this table, but I don't think any human is designed to hold things in.
Right.
Because, you hear it over and over and over. People hold things in, and then it festers and it grows, and then eventually you do act out. And you wind up in some crazy places where if you had maybe, I think I'm in a Sunday Connect group. You notice what I did there? It's a hybrid. I'm old school, so Sunday school's in my mind, but
Sunday
modern
Connect.
They say Connect. So I've begun to say Sunday Connect. What do you think?
That's pretty awesome.
Yes, it kind of gets you over that hurdle in your head. But anyway, we were just talking about this last Sunday in our group about the times in my life when I've had really difficult things going on. And I wound up eventually, after trying to deal with it on my own for a while, I wound up just going in and just throwing myself into my church family. Just getting involved and talking to people. And then I found out that, I'm actually pretty normal. Whatever it was I was dealing with is nothing really new. But when you're all by yourself and you're trying to carry some of that stuff, you can't, for one. You're not equipped to. I think the Bible kind of leads you to believe you should give those cares to Him, as they say. And you begin to see why when you go through some hard things. You begin to see that you're not strong enough to do it. You can't.
And
mentally,
we're not told to.
No,
we're told to come to Him.
You're told to do the opposite, which is to come to Him and, like you said, talk to Him about it. And there's something about just saying things like that out loud that has a bit of a relief to it, isn't there?
Yeah.
I think men struggle maybe more with that. Women will have a good cry. Typically, women will just have a good cry and not get over it, but it seems to help sort of relieve that pressure in their life. And men have a harder time dealing with it, I think, because we're supposed to be tough and we're supposed to be okay. And, sometimes I think it's okay just not to be okay. But the Bible never teaches us that even just being a Christian. Elijah did everything God told him to do, and God still allowed him and put him into the first wilderness he was in. You read about Job. God put him into a wilderness, not because Job was doing something wrong, but the wilderness had purpose. And so one of the things we have to ask ourselves is when life is overwhelming, when the circumstances just burden you down, you will not be able to answer this question in the midst of it. So I think you brought up one day in our Sunday Connect group, you said, don't just bring me a bunch of Bible answers.
Oh, yeah.
In those moments, really what we need is just a listening ear, an arm, just somebody that's just compassionate.
A friend.
Yeah, not trying to fix you. I'm just listening. But once you get through the scenario, once you get out of that wilderness and you sort of start getting your bearings, you tend to learn something. Has there been that time in your life where you learned something either about yourself or about God, and kind of what was that?
All right, let me go back to another example about my mother. So I was pastoring in Clarksville, Tennessee, just outside of Clarksville. Dad had died, and then Dad hadn't died yet. Dad was very sick. God moved us from Clarksville, Tennessee to East Tennessee. And nothing was wrong at the church. It was growing. Very good things were happening there. And at the time, it was a real struggle. I mean, Janet and I, we talked about this a lot. We did not understand, why was God moving us? We get to East Tennessee. Within just a few weeks, Dad dies. So we're back in East Tennessee, where all the family is from. Mm-hmm. So we move Mom down to East Tennessee with us. So she's with her sisters. She's with her brother. She's there with me and Janet and some other family members. And within a year of that happening, we find out Mom's got stage 4 cancer. Mm. Well, during that move and getting settled in East Tennessee, God opened up a job for Janet at the UT Cancer Institute to work in the breast cancer area before we knew Mom was ever sick. So we get there, we're plugged in, Janet's doing her things, we're doing the stuff at the church, get Mom settled, and then Mom comes down with this horrible cancer. And we're already in a place where we have some of the absolute best cancer doctors around, the ones that teach it, that do this stuff day in and day out. And they were able to get Mom in and to get treatments and diagnoses and all the specialized care in place for her immediately. And so you fast forward a few years and you're looking back at that and you just see how God just navigated our lives.
Prepared you for it.
We had no idea when we were leaving Clarksville why we leaving.
Yeah.
And, several years later, we're looking back at that and we're like, man, because she was in pediatrics before. She'd never worked cancer stuff, let alone anything like what Mom's going to deal with. And it's just like, thank you, God. And he had us there for a season. And when that season was over, God moved us again.
Yeah.
It's bizarre to look at how God guides us.
It is. I have kind of a mixed visual of how that all works. I look back on things, and sometimes I don't necessarily know that he arranged this or that for me, but he allowed me to stumble across things at the correct time. Mm-hmm. There's a part of me that can't completely go with he's got me completely programmed every minute of my life, because then the rest of it doesn't make sense to me in my mind. Predestination, all that, free will, none of that makes sense if I'm just programmed. But it does make sense if I, like you said, if I look back after the fact and I see where this could have been a lot worse, but that was there. Such and such was there to kind of maybe redirect me or protect me. Mm-hmm. I'll just tell you, I have a crazy lifestyle. Always have. Not completely normal. And there have been times in my life where things could have really
gone off the rail.
Tanked.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely tanked. I look back, though, and I realize, first of all, I blame God for making me the way I am, because he did. But I see where he allowed me the freedom to be who he made, but along the way, he protected me from, A, killing myself, 2, messing it all up really bad. Mm-hmm. And it's happened over and over and over in my life, and there's no explanation. You said it's just bizarre. Mm-hmm. I say there's no explanation other than him. Yeah. There can't be.
Yeah. Well, I think, I tell people this all the time. God has his perfect will, and then there's this permissive will. And a lot of times we fall into his permissive will.
I like that. I've never heard that before.
And, but even though we might be in his permissive will, God is long-suffering with us. And he can still bring us around in some of those decisions that we made that may not have been the best ones.
Yeah, man, I'm so glad he
works in the details, and we forget that sometimes, is that, we have this free will, but he's working in the details. Mm-hmm. All I can think about is that when my kids were young, and we were talking about bicycles earlier before we got on air, and I remember my parents wanted to buy one of my kids a bicycle or something, and we'd already bought it, and we were getting really excited about going to Pop's house, and what do we get, and I forget if it was Marie or Reed, but anyway, one of them was really excited about a bicycle, and they threw out right here at the end, we already have the bicycle. I can't wait to get that red bicycle, the one I really want. And we began to talk about how much better pink would be than red. And somehow that got in her mind, and maybe it was Marie, because if Reed got a pink bicycle, that just sounds really bad, doesn't it? So I think it was Marie. But anyway, when she got the gift, she was excited about it, and we had already prepared her mind for that. And I wonder if God, kind of does some of those things too. But it's just this reminder that in the difficulties that He's there with us. I got to thinking about something. We have changed our format a little bit, and since it's called the Three Preacher Series, we might need to ordain Michael Jackson, which should scare a lot of people. Let's do that. Let's make that one of our on-air sessions. We'll
do that this year.
We'll ordain Michael Jackson to the gospel ministry.
Be a big audience for that one.
But when COVID happened, COVID rocked churches and pastors. My gosh, man, pastors across the nation.
Yep.
They quit. They were suicidal. All this stuff, and I have all these people looking at me, and I'm like you. I'm created that weird way, and I'm just laughing, going, "Let's create a stupid video about toilet paper, and let's go out here and sing, gloom, despair, and agony on me." And so me and the staff did a lot of these little funny videos and everything, and we were really kind of doing it for our own sanity. But it was amazing. I'd go to association meetings, and I had pastors. It's like, I saw y'all doing that, and it gave me hope.
Yeah,
I was like, if they can laugh in the midst of all this, then I don't need to take this so serious. And all that to say is that God is with us in these circumstances, the good, the bad, the ugly. He's there with us, and we just have to open our eyes up and look for Him. Sometimes it is looking for Him. Which really brings us back to Elijah. When Elijah goes from the wilderness God put him in to his own wilderness because he's scared, Jezebel's mad at him, and he runs and hides. God speaks to him in a still small voice. And He asks him a real important question. Why are you here? And that should cause us to think. We have a free will. He had a free will, and he put himself in a place where God didn't want him. God didn't come and blast him and fuss at him or send him, kill him immediately. God just says, "Hey, son, why are you here?" And I wonder if there have been those moments in your life where you felt like God was speaking to you. The great example, what Koontz shared with us, but a great, God's speaking to me, and I don't even know why or what, but I feel compelled to do this or do that. Those are cool things. Anything else brought to mind?
Not about that, but I was thinking about something else while you were talking.
Imagine that.
Wonder what makes you do what I think we all do. We're all churched up. Primarily most people we're talking to now are churched up people. Some might not be. I hope there's some of those listening. We got something to tell you in a minute too. But I wonder why, especially churched up people that know, still let themselves go there.
Yep.
Why? Is it just a human thing? What does do you have a suggestion about why we go there?
Why we go to those doubts and fears?
Well, why you just? Well, I don't even know that. I never doubt God. In my toughest times, I don't doubt Him. I doubt myself a lot.
Yep.
I never doubt Him. I just don't go there. There are people that get mad at. I don't get mad at God. I'm not going to do that. I'm not real stupid. But I wonder why, knowing, you let yourself go there. You let yourself go into these wildernesses.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that? Why are people that way?
I think we're so weak, to be honest with you. Paul talks about we fight against things unseen. There is this cosmic battle going on where God wants us to follow Him. Satan doesn't want us to follow Him. And we're kind of pawns in the game. And so these circumstances of life, I was at a pastor's conference one time, and I love the way this guy put it. Of course, he's sitting there looking at 25, 30 pastors. They are seminaried up, and they're prayed up, and they just preached on Sunday. And he looked at them, and he said, "Boys, y'all are self-confident, self-righteous." And he said, "You think you're walking around with an exclamation point over top of your head like, well, if this happens, I know God's in control. I know God's my God. I have faith in my God." He said, until the wrong things happen to your life. And he used Elijah, and he used Job, and he did this personal example. He said, "I would love to tell y'all this morning." He said, "I'm a pastor to pastors. That's what I do." He said, I would love to tell you this morning that as I'm talking to you, if I got a phone call and somebody said, your wife has been in a head-on car collision and she is not going to make it, you need to get to the hospital. He said, I would love to tell you that I would run to the church and I would fall down on the altar and I would praise God for my beautiful wife and the time that we've had. And I would just say, God, you are so awesome and I love you and thank you for what we've had. I know she's with you. He said, I'd love to tell you that. That's the exclamation point we all want. He said, but what you have is a question mark over your head. And he said, I'm going to tell you right now, I wish I would do that, but you might find me in a local bar drinking as much as I could put in my body to forget what I just heard about. And he said, so the circumstances of life will absolutely crush you. And when you're so arrogant that you think, oh, I can handle this and I can handle that, he said, no, you can't. That's one of those, I think we've had that in Inny and Outty before, God will only put on you what you can handle. That's a lie of the devil.
That's right.
He will put on you, or allowed to be put on you, things that you can't handle, because if you could handle it, you don't need him.
That's right.
You know what something is I've learned? I would say recently, but I've been learning it for a long time, is that when I'm in my worst person, when I'm being my worst person, and I get this thought that I'm going to pray my way out of this later, or I can't really go to God right now while I'm in the middle of being my worst person. I have learned that is absolutely incorrect. When I am my worst person, in the middle of being that worst person, I have learned I'm still going to talk to him. One, I'm not hiding anything.
Yeah, he knows,
it's
right?
not like he don't know. And two, the alternative is to not reach out to him.
Yeah.
And I have learned that's absolutely the wrong way to look at that.
Yep.
And I wouldn't say that he has corrected me and made me the pristine person I wish I could be, but I will say that it makes me appreciate him even more, that he has not just totally vaporized me from the planet.
Yeah.
For how I can actually be a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I've learned this. I just wanted to share that.
Well, I think it's a good place to wrap up the Bible section, is to just ask ourselves and maybe ask our listeners, are we trusting God with everything that we have? Because that's what that is, Michael. That's going, whether I had a good day or I had a bad day, I'm trusting him with it, because our circumstances will change. I mean, if I get a phone call that I've won $1 million, I'm going to be pretty happy. If I get a phone call that my house just blew down, I'm not going to be very happy. But my happiness is different than my holiness, and it's different than my relationship with God. Just because bad things happen doesn't mean God's not there, doesn't mean he doesn't care, and all those things. So, where are we at in our relationship with God? For those who know him, then you know what? It's a good reminder to say, yeah, it's been a good day and I need him, or it's been a bad day and I need him, because we need him both times. For those who've just run away from that truth, today's a great day to just say yes to God, to cry out to him, because you're going to need him.
You can do it right now.
You can do it right now. Yeah.
For the people that put that off and know they probably should do that.
Yep.
You can take care of that right now.
Yep.
If you're hearing us, you can take care of it immediately, and you won't have that in your head anymore.
Yep.
If you take care of it now,
yep,
that part of it will be done. Look around the table, you can see that you don't get fixed quickly. So hopefully that's an encouragement.
Right,
but you can take care of that. If you want to be saved, as they say in church circles, you can do that right now.
Yep.
Don't even have to have a preacher.
Nope.
You can do that right in your head, in yourself, because that's where the decision is anyway. And I think that's where he's talking to you, whoever you are. He's not talking to me and then telling me to talk to you. He's talking to you. You're just hearing it or feeling it. Anyway, take care of it.
Yep.
It's a new year. Take care of it, and then join us back here for frivolity.
That's right.
Is your plane landed where you want to land?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
New format, moving right along. I feel empowered.
Right. You're in the power seat.
Speaking of power seat, take a quick break, come back. We're going to play Inny or Outty. I hope you've missed it. I have. Thank you for listening to and watching Mike the Baptist. We hope you get something out of these programs and that they bring you a bit of joy and hope. This year, we want to ask you to help us grow our listening audience by simply sharing these podcasts and video episodes with your friends on social media and in the real world. Our goal is simple: talk about our faith and how it affects our lives using common language, just the way people really talk. The message really is good news for people who are already churched up and for those who aren't yet, because the good news isn't something we're given to keep to ourselves. It's meant to be shared. So we're asking you to share this year by telling others about the foolishness and the fun on Mike the Baptist. Happy New Year. We're just Christians trying not to cuss.
Hey everybody, it's time to play America's almost favoriteest new game show, Inny or Outty, where we challenge our guests to figure out if a phrase we give them is actually in the Bible or out of the Bible. Sharpen your wits, guest. You're about to be in the hot seat of Bible stuff, because you're the next contestant on Inny or Outty. Here's Mike.
One of the simple joys of life, now, didn't used to be, but is now, is Inny or Outty. And, well, there's no need to explain that. We went through that for a year talking about how...
Over a year? What are you talking about?
I know, how simple it is, and it doesn't require explaining, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're not going to do that this year. Under our new format, we're going to simply have one of you guys throw something out, and then the other two are going to try to figure out, is that in the Bible or out? Is it an Inny or
Outty? That seems pretty simple.
It's very simple. Needs no explanation. And we're going to kick it right off. The two preachers are going to start the year off correctly by asking the Inny or Outty question. Which preacher would like to go first?
Well, since my question relates to Christmas, and Christmas was just a few days ago.
Just a few days.
I'm going to give you some words.
Okay.
One of these words is not in the Bible.
It's always frightening when my friend H.D. Jones says, I'm going to give you some words.
I'm going to give you some words.
Okay, so one of these is not in the Bible?
So one of these words is not in the Bible.
Not in the Bible.
Okay.
Okay.
Snow, stockings, gifts, garland, wreath. See, these are good. Snow, stocking, gifts, garland, wreath.
Okay, then. Koontz, I have no clue.
Well,
do you have a clue? Garland is the first thing that pops in my head.
I'm just thinking geographically. There wasn't a whole lot of snow. In the Holy Lands, unless you went up to one of these mountain peaks, maybe.
You know what? That's
and
really
encountered some snow.
That's intelligent.
Because and the only reason is because I'm thinking of these others. I'm like, goodness gracious.
Yes.
I don't.
I spend a lot of time
all of them in there.
I spend a lot of time trying to stump y'all. I mean, it's
well,
y'all are pretty smart.
I love this. You know what's funny, Koontz, is I passed on snow because I'm thinking Christmas, manger. There wasn't a bit of snow involved in any of that.
No, it seems like we just talked about that because they wouldn't have been out in the fields watching their flocks by night if it was snowing.
No.
But that's the part of the world you don't think about snow anyway.
I don't think it snows there, unless it's up in the Himalayas, or where's the Himalayas?
Yeah, they're there somewhere.
I don't know.
Somewhere over in there.
Goodness.
Is that where Bigfoot is?
Himalaya? I think so.
No, that's Yeti. Yeti doesn't care.
Well, Garland was the other one that my first guess was. But you've changed me because snow is pretty obvious. They didn't go anywhere in the Bible where they would have talked about snow, did they?
I don't know. It's just the easiest out for me.
Parka's not in the Bible.
Igloo's not in there, is it?
No.
Or is it?
No.
On the next episode of Mike the Baptist.
No. I'm going to go with you, Koontz. I think my gut was Garland.
You want to go with snow?
But my head is snow. What do you think?
I kind of like the sound of it.
I think we're snow, H.
Yeah,
I think we believe snow is not in the
Educate us and tell
Bible.
us how unintelligent we are.
What a way to start off the new year, guys, by missing the question. So I probably should, in my notes, I probably really should give you, because I know y'all are going to be going, where's that in the Bible? Where's that in the Bible?
Well, yeah, we are.
But snow, I do know, because that's in the book of Job.
Really?
Because one of the things that God says to Job, it says, do you know where the warehouses for snow is? Where does the snow?
Wow.
Da da da. So
Had
snow,
no idea.
Snow's in there several times.
Wow.
Obviously, gifts are in there. Garlands in there. Wreaths are in there.
Don't say stockings.
Stockings.
Listen, I was going to make a joke when this first
Stockings are
started
not
about
in the
stockings in the Bible,
Right?
And I just passed it by.
Yep. There you go.
Really?
Yep.
The word stockings is
Ho
nowhere
ho
in there.
hey.
That was a good one.
Yep.
Very
Good job.
good.
Good job.
Okay, Koontz.
All right. Well, so I was going along with the Christmas theme as
Okay,
well.
great.
And I was afraid, because I'm going to give you a word, and I was afraid he was going to use it.
Uh-oh.
So here,
Here.
Carol. Is Carol in the Bible? Because we just talked about Carol
We
in the
did
green
talk
room,
about that.
and that kind of stuck in my brain a little bit.
I think I know why.
We talked about carols in the green room. Wait a minute. The question now, I got sidetracked.
Is the word Carol
You distracted me there a
In the
little.
Bible.
Bible.
We're playing in your Outty.
Carol. Now, my obvious dumb question would be, is that a proper name Carol or the word Carol, as in a song Carol?
Is the word Carol in the Bible?
the word
I
Carol.
don't guess they named a lot of people Carol back in those days, did they? Anyway, your question was,
Is Carol in the Bible?
is Carol in the Bible? So H, I'm a little afraid because
Right.
yours was just a word like that.
Right.
And stockings hit me originally as but then I worked my way around.
No. You were stuck on wreath, weren't you? Or
No, garland. Garland was my gut.
Yeah, you
but
never
stocking
mentioned- you
just
never
tickled me
mentioned
when he
stocking.
first said stocking. I'm thinking about, why would they have said stocking?
You know, we should have thought that through more, because
I don't think we would have
1,000 years
got
ago,
it still.
stockings didn't even exist.
We still wouldn't have got it up.
Yeah. Oh well.
Wait a minute,
Snow.
whose side am I? Oh, it's me and you.
Yep.
Carol.
Carol.
I don't think so. Do you?
I'm
What is a carol?
a song, like a Christmas carol.
But is this
Christmas
Christmas?
carol.
Is a carol just for Christmas?
I don't know. It's when we
Can we
think about
Google
it.
that without Googling the answer?
We get in trouble when we
Yeah.
pick our phones up on Inny or Outty.
Yeah.
But I'm curious now about the word carol. What did
I think it's an old English word. I don't know why I think that, but
I'll go with you on
Sounded
that because
smart.
I don't know either. But
it's Latin for.
so are you saying no?
That would be my.
Yeah.
This is a 50-50, so you know,
is.
hey,
But it helps if you have somebody across the table that goes with you.
yeah, it does. But I know somehow you'll weasel out and be right either which way it goes.
But look, I'm gonna straight up say no with you.
Okay.
I don't think carol is in the Bible.
All right. So another great start to the year. You are correct.
Yes.
Oh,
No
good.
Carol in the Bible. So
win
Jackson,
or loss?
you're 1 for 1. You're 50%.
What?
You're about a half, or if
Yeah.
you turn it upside down, 2
2 for
ones.
1.
No, but wasn't I wrong on the first one?
Yeah, but you got the second one right.
But you said I was 1 for 1.
1 for 2.
This is so confusing.
You're 1 for 2.
If
We're
I had
using
a-
that Alabama
If
math.
I had a nickel for every time I heard that, I'd have $2.83.
You would, at least. Okay, good one. Those were both good ones.
Oh, wow. What a great contestant and a fine sport today on Inny or Outty, America's almost favorite new game show. Study up, future guest people. You're next in the hot seat for Inny or Outty.
Hey, listen, like I said, send us an email. Comments at MikeTheBaptist.com. You can address that to me, HD, Koontz, our buddy Neil, Jason, Preacher's Wives, whoever. Address it to Aaron Rogers.
And buy something.
He needs some email.
Buy something. The reason we were off air for November, December is
Yes.
because we had to shut down.
Couldn't afford the internet.
Couldn't afford it.
We had to
Yeah.
shut it down. That's right. It was a shutdown, kind of like a government shutdown.
We ran out of budget.
And food to review.
But anyway, yeah, send us a comment. We want to know what you think about the new format. We're just trying to streamline it a little bit to fit more people's trips to Nashville, et cetera, and try to keep you from having to listen to it at 1.5. Good luck to you. Hey, thanks, fellas. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to everybody who might be listening or watching. Wish you the best, don't we?
Absolutely. Yep.
On behalf of H.D. Jones, Michael Koontz, and myself, Mike the Baptist, remember, folks, we're just Christians.
Trying
Not
to
cuss.
There you go.
We're trying real hard. Wish us luck. See you next time.
Mike the Baptist.